Play ball! The two words baseball fans have been waiting on for months are here. With an agreement officially behind us, we still have COVID to deal with. Likewise, every sport is dealing with the same reality as recent spikes in the virus are reverberating throughout the nation. What, if anything, will this change? We'll take a closer look as we continue trying to navigate through this maze.
Full Sail Live, next.
Hello again, and thanks for killing some time with us this morning. Michael Vick here in the studio with you. Lots to get into. But first, baseball is back. After months of back and forth, Major League Baseball has imposed a 60-game season, provided the players agree to two things. One, that they report to training camp by July 1st, and two, that they agree to the health and safety protocols, which apparently is only 120 pages or so of light reading. Provided there are no setbacks and things go as planned, 60 games in 66 days is a lot. Eduardo Perez, you're a former player, now current analyst. As a player, how do you approach all of this?
You know what, the same way. Go and grind it. I think it's a great news for a lot of teams that didn't have the depth in their farm system that now can just push the pedal to the metal. Teams that weren't probably going to be contending in the second half. They have 2 months to pull out all the strings, and maybe, just maybe, a star will be born in the next 60 games where you could have a Kansas City Royal or you could have a Miami Marlin team compete in a revamped division where you're going to play in the same time zone day after day. I think it's going to make a big difference for those teams that have a lot of travel usually. We're going to find out how good they can be for those 60 days.
And of course, even with what is absolutely good news, there still remains the possibility that a second wave of coronavirus could derail these plans at any time. A recent spike in COVID cases can be felt all across sports. The world's #1 tennis player Novak Djokovic and NBA star Nikola Jokic both tested positive for the coronavirus after the two were seen together in their home country of Serbia. Jokic was supposed to fly back to Denver this week ahead of the NBA restart in Orlando at the end of the month. As we take a look here, the list of names that have contracted the virus continues to grow. Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott among the more recent cases. And it's not just affecting the pros. Clemson just announced another 14 student athletes have tested positive, bringing their total to 37, 23 from the football team. And the national champs, the LSU Tigers, have stated 30 of their players recently tested positive. Of course, both of those teams played in this year's title game earlier this year. This becomes a very tricky problem to navigate. Based off of everything that we've been led to believe from infectious disease specialists and medical experts, a very basic guideline is social distancing. With team sports and especially football, where everyone is in close proximity to one another, it's simply not possible. In fact, Dr. Fauci, the country's leading expert on coronavirus, had this to say just last week about the upcoming NFL season. Quote, "Unless players are essentially in a bubble, insulated from the community, and they are tested nearly every day, it would be very hard to see how football is able to be played this fall," Fauci said in an interview with CNN. He went on to say, quote, "If there's a second wave, which is certainly a possibility and which would be complicated by the predictable flu season, football may not happen this year," end quote. Of course, those are very sobering words that no football fan wants to hear. The NFL is currently working on a plan. Tom Mayer, the NFL's Player Association medical director, says the league intends on testing players 3 times a week and will isolate anyone who tests positive. He also said that there's about a 90% chance that there will be a reliable saliva testing available before players return to facilities. In other NFL-related news, Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott did sign his exclusive franchise tender on Monday. Contract discussions have been of great debate over the last year and a half for Dak, who's entering his 5th year. For whatever reason, Jerry Jones and the Cowboys still haven't locked him down on a long-term deal. Meanwhile, other cornerstone players like Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, and DeMarcus Lawrence all got large deals. Dak was set to make a little less than $5 million in his final year of his rookie contract. Instead, he'll now make a little over $31 million this year, unless the two sides can agree on a long-term contract before the deadline of July 15th. Prescott finished the 2019 season second in the NFL with over 4,900 passing yards, but was just 2-6 versus teams with winning records. The Cowboys have missed the playoffs 2 of the last 3 seasons, but will certainly look to change that under new head coach Mike McCarthy. Still to come with what should have been draft night in the NBA, we'll take a look back on this day 17 years ago in what was one of the all-time great draft classes that has Hall of Fame written all over it. And with the NBA looking to restart in Orlando next month, it's the moment of truth as over 300 players get tested for COVID-19. But first, it has been an emotional roller coaster for Bubba Wallace over the last 5 days after it was reported a rope with a noose knot was found in his garage at Talladega Superspeedway. Upon learning of the incident, the Nascar family quickly rallied around Wallace in an emotional show of solidarity. The FBI investigated as a potential hate crime but found photographic evidence the rope had been there since October 2019, long before any of this. But questions obviously linger, like why the rope was tied like that in the first place and why this garage was assigned to Wallace. One answer, according to NASCAR, is that garages are assigned by point standings. Due to coronavirus protocols, NASCAR has been grouping multi-car teams in adjoining stalls based off those same point standings. Bubba Wallace was 20th in points. As a result, Wallace's Richard Petty 43 team was assigned to garage stall number 4.
Obviously, I was hurt. I was sad that people would go to those measures. I wouldn't say I'm shocked because we see the stuff that goes on in the world. But it's just unfortunate that it happened to me, and my crew was able to see it and witness that. And these times kind of bring back that positive light of love and passion and solidarity and unity to unite together and show that love is way stronger than hate.
Although thankful to learn that this was not an intentional racist act, NASCAR has made it very clear that there is no place for racism in the sport, and that the incident has only strengthened its resolve to make the sport open and welcoming to all.
The Cleveland Cavaliers select LeBron James.
Well, on this day 17 years ago, the NBA welcomed that man into the league. The chosen one, LeBron James, overwhelmingly viewed as the heir to his heiress, just 19 years old. Also Carmelo Anthony, Flash, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, all taken in the top 5 of the 2003 draft. It's been a ride ever since. LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosh eventually teaming up in South Beach, where the Big Three, as they would become known, went on to 4 consecutive NBA Finals with the Miami Heat, winning 2 world titles together before breaking up the band in 2014. As for the present NBA situation, 302 players were tested for coronavirus Tuesday. This all, of course, part of the initial process and a plan to restart the season in the Orlando bubble. Of the 302, 16 players tested positive according to an official statement released by the league. July 7th is when teams are expected to arrive in Florida for training camp. July 30th is when games are expected to resume. Well, my time's up here. We'll continue to follow these stories and give you the very latest tomorrow. For Full Sail Live, I'm Michael Vick. And as always, thanks for watching.